This right here is a 5 kilowatt diesel heater, but instead of heating air, it heats liquid. I'm surprised a lot of people don't even know about this product and exactly what it can do. It's called the Autoterm Flow 5D, and it essentially just heats up water and circulates it around the system. Its most popular application is within the sort of boat life. You've got your central heating, can be fully powered off this tiny little diesel heater. You can use it for underfloor heating. In my case right now, I'm using it as an engine coolant preheater. Essentially, any liquid that you want to circulate around a system and heat with the low use of fuel, in this case diesel, this is your perfect option. Connect it up to huge water tanks, stick this on the side to circulate water and heat it, then you have an unlimited amount of hot water for, let's say, a shower. That is it right there, the Autoterm Flow 5D. You've got your exhaust coming out the bottom, your fuel line coming in, and your air intake coming in. This is a flow and return for the coolant hoses. You've got the in and you've got the out. Let me explain how it works. And we'll go through and talk all about how it got installed. Now, we're going to try and do it in a really simple manner so that anybody can sort of understand this as best as they possibly can. And if you can't, just leave a comment down below. This is all what I learned from the Autoterm experts that installed this for me. That's a whole different story towards the end of the actual video. But we're going to use this as the motto. It is essentially the outside body of the actual whole thing just there. Coming out of the top, you've got the flow and return, the two pipes that come out at the top. Underneath, you've got the exhaust, the air intake, the fuel line. Inside there is where the glow plug goes. It actually goes in and through into the central part. That's where your diesel gets mixed in, your air gets mixed in, and it makes the combustion as a normal diesel heater would, and then it goes out the exhaust perfectly fine. This outer skin is an outer body that you can see on the whole machinery just there. The white stuff on the inside, well, that's your coolant. Down there we've got a pump, and everything that's I'm mentioning comes in the kit with this. But that little pump is connected onto the flow and return coolant pipes, and it circulates the water through the heater, through whatever it is you're trying to heat, and back into the heater. You've got a temperature gauge on the return side of that heater, so the temperature that is showing is what the temperature is of the coolant that's coming back in my case. So that little pump turns on when the pump's turned on. So as the central part, the burns chamber, is heating up, it's also heating up the water that's inside the casing, and the coolant pump that's down there just circulates it all around the pump, all around the whole system, and heats it up nicely. After however long, depending on how big your system is, how much coolant and liquid you've got in there, it will heat up the whole system. Now for me, the benefit is I get to heat up my engine to the point where, if you ever tried to start an engine in the real depths of cold, it's chug, 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 and it eventually starts, or sometimes it doesn't, it drains the battery. This is going to preheat my coolant, which is then going to preheat the engine block slightly, where all the coolant is running through. By preheating the engine block, it's preheating all the other fluids that are actually in there. Did that make sense? That's got the burns chamber in it with the coolant circulating around it. That's your flow and return, you're in and you're out. They link to the little pump which is just there. That's the circulation pump. Your engine doesn't need to be on for this, it just needs a 12-volt supply. That connects onto the coolant hoses for the flow and return to the heater matrix, the cabin heater. So basically, as that heats up, it pumps the water straight into the return feed onto the heater matrix. That goes straight into the engine to heat that first. When it's gone all around the coolant system, all around the heater matrix, it comes back into the diesel heater to keep warming up again. I'll quickly show you how it's controlled. That's my one. I've got the comfort controller just there. So I just press it and it wakes up, press it, heating, preheating, and then you can adjust the time for how long you want it to preheat for, right the way up to infinity. Me personally, I tend to just whack it on for an hour at most, but half an hour is perfectly fine. But that is done. It's telling me there the coolant temperature, which is 18 degrees, 19 degrees. It tells me the voltage of the battery up there, the time and date, because you can set that up to a timer where it comes on at whatever time you set it at. So if you're going to work at the same day every single day and you want your engine warm, which, by the way, when your engine is warm, your cabin heaters are warm, so you can get straight into your vehicle, turn on the heaters, bang, you've got instant heat there. If you go to work at 9 o'clock, just set that to automatically come on at 8 o'clock, and it will just come on at 8 o'clock. By the time you get in your car, you've got a nice warm engine and vehicle. Same as if you're using it as a shower or central heating, just set the timer, jobs are good. It does baffle me why this isn't much more of a commonly used item. You can heat up a lot more water for less money than a standard boiler that we use in a camper van. It can be used as the full central heating system, which blew my mind because it literally is just a central heating system, and that is your boiler, the Flow 5D from Autoterm. But when I went down and picked this up, I was a bit dubious really, because I picked up my diesel heater at exactly the same time. I knew I could fit one of them. Autoterm .store near Wrexham. Now they can install everything because they've got the obviously installation packages. However, they couldn't fit me in time before I come on this massive adventure up towards the Arctic Circle, which I'm not there now. I'll go there tomorrow. Different story altogether. Anyway, they said you can be on. We're on the end of the phone. If you get any questions, just give us a call. The instructions are really good. And I was a bit nervous about this preheater. Believe me, I was on the phone to them constantly, just asking stupid questions. You can hear it starting to ramp up now. When that gets up to the right temperature that I've set it at, which is 90 degrees inside, it will ramp it back down again and keep it at that temperature until it either turns off or I start the engine and let's go. Throughout all my calls, they called me one day and said, Richard, our technical director, one of the only 3 Autoterm experts in the world, wants to fly in from France to install your preheater to make sure it's perfect for the Arctic Circle. Come again? So he wants to fly in from France just to fit this for me to make sure it's perfectly fine for when I go away, because I am going away very, very soon. That's customer service, that is. This is how they installed it. First job was to get it in on the ramps and be able to find a suitable location for it to go. There's a whole mounting bracket. You have to think of the exhaust, the airflow, the fuel line, how you're going to run the fuel line. But they've done this 1,000,001 times. So while they figured that out, they gave me a cut up version to be able to, so that you guys can see it exactly what it looks like on the inside and be able to understand it a little bit more. They found the location on my auxiliary battery tray, secured the bracket down, and then secured the exhaust heat jacket, the airline, and everything you see here comes in the kit. They managed to get that in and secured onto the bracket and run and secure the exhaust and the air inlet underneath the van into that front footwell. They managed to trace the fuel line up into that area, connect the coolant pipes onto the top of it, and route the actual fuel pump into place. Next job was to cut the original cooling hoses. They went through the return of the actual heater matrix into the engine pipe, crimped that off on both sides, cut the middle, installed the pumps and the pipes into that so that it can go into the engine first, then round the engine, back into the heater matrix, then back down into the engine. It just circulates perfectly like that. All the cabling started to be ran. It all comes as standard with the conduit on, so that all got secured into place perfectly fine. We ran the cable that goes through to the fuel pump, the cable that goes through to the smart comfort controller, and got everything slowly put into place. Went underneath the van and secured all the fuel lines, ran the fuel pump, ran everything to where it needed to go to. We teed into the old original fuel pump of the van that I've got in there for the diesel heater already. That's when they started to notice the problems I did whilst installing the diesel heater. Simple stuff like the fuel line that I used was the original fuel line from my old diesel heater, so that needed to get changed. My fuel pump was over a metre away from the fuel tank. These fuel pumps are made to push fuel, not suck fuel. It needed to be less than a metre away from the tank, so we changed all that around. My exhaust was looped up and that's not good enough. Condensation will block the exhaust. That needed to get sorted. So there's a few little bits and pieces that I done wrong which I had to get fixed there and then. And the joy with these, they offer this service as standard on their website, autoterm.store or avl.store. Use code INDY5 to get your discount, and it's all there ready and waiting for you guys. I can say they spent more time fixing my problems that I caused rather than actually installing the product, because that just flew by.
But because these guys do it all day, every day, they know exactly what they're doing and how to do it perfectly fine. They also offer stuff like servicing, where you can either take your van there, they will take your diesel heater out, your water heater out, and get them serviced. But you can also just take it out yourself and send it to them to get them serviced. That includes all stuff like the new brackets, the new gaskets, the new glow plugs. Everything comes in the service. That's the exhaust now fitted onto the liquid heater, and it's time to bring the van back down now so they can truly showcase absolutely everything to me. The first job was to plug it into the diagnostics to allow the fuel pump to be able to prime itself, and then show me exactly how the comfort controller works and test every little parameter of it. Once Owen was perfectly happy with the install, everything was tested, and he knew that I knew how to work the machine, he then jumped on a plane back over to France.
Around about 10 minutes later, let's check what it is on the control panel. It's up to 85 degrees, and then I'll open up my key, whack that in there, and just double check the temperature gauge. Look at that, straight the way up. And now you find me slightly later at the port of Harwich, waiting to get onto that boat there, over to the Hook of Holland to start this journey. I can't wait to show you guys this. Little teaser, it's now 3 days later. We're halfway up Norway. We're in the middle of an absolutely blinding storm. We've got that going on just over there. I've had issues with the border patrol in a couple of different locations. This is one mind-blowing journey. We've had landslides that have completely eroded the road away, and I've had to take massive diversions, which turned out to be absolutely mega, and we're only 3 days into it. I'm about 500 miles south of the Arctic Circle as we speak, and it's mind-blowing. I can't wait to show you guys this. Make sure you subscribe, turn those bell notifications on, because this is going to be epic.